All right, Yankees fans, listen up because the offseason talk is starting to heat up in a big way. The Bronx Bombers are once again in that familiar position, looking to reload, looking to add more firepower, and most importantly, trying to figure out how to turn this talented roster into a serious championship contender again. After that early playoff exit against the Toronto Blue Jays, who went on to shock everyone by making the World Series, there's been a lot of noise about what the Yankees should do next. And let's be honest, there are some very interesting names being thrown around right now, both expected and surprising, that could completely change the look of this team heading into next season. Now, before we even get into specific players, it's clear that Brian Cashman and the Yankees front office have one big mission: add talent. Everywhere. They're not just looking for another home run slugger or one headline move. This team knows it needs balance. Guys who can hit for contact, play solid defense, and fit into the identity they're trying to rebuild. But recently, one name has been popping up more and more, and it's caught the attention of fans all over the league. That name is Munetaka Murakami. Murakami is not your typical free agent story. This guy is a monster power hitter from Japan who's been absolutely tearing it up overseas. If you look at his numbers, you instantly understand the hype. His batting average last season sat at around .273, which is solid, and he's maintained an on-base percentage in the high 370s for 3 straight seasons. He can flat-out mash the baseball, and his slugging numbers have been among the best in Japan for years. He's got that raw left-handed power that would look pretty good blasting balls into the short porch at Yankee Stadium. But of course, there's always a catch. Murakami strikes out a lot. He's a true power hitter, which means plenty of home runs, but also plenty of empty swings. That's where the debate begins. Because as much as the Yankees love their big bats, do they really need another high strikeout player right now? Especially one who mainly plays first base, a position that might already be locked up. Ben Rice stepped up this season and showed that he might be the real deal. He hit .255, smacked 26 home runs, and finished with an OPS in the mid-800s. That's not just decent production. That's legitimate middle-of-the-order stuff for a rookie. He's young, cheap, and improving fast. And when you think about how much Murakami is likely to command, probably over $200 million, it raises a serious question. Is Murakami really an upgrade? Or just another big name for the sake of making headlines? Because when you compare his numbers in Japan to what Rice did in the majors, it's not crazy to think the difference might not be worth that kind of investment. Plus, when you factor in that the Yankees already have Giancarlo Stanton locked in as the designated hitter, it's hard to see where Murakami would even fit defensively. He can play a little bit of third base in a pinch, but he's really a first baseman, and the Yankees simply don't need another one. But here's where things start to get interesting. Murakami himself has said that he's open to playing for the Yankees, even though his initial preference might be a West Coast team. That right there tells you something. He knows what it means to wear the pinstripes. And let's be honest, there's always been something special about Japanese stars coming to New York. The fan base, the media attention, the legacy, it's all part of what makes the Yankees the Yankees. So even though Los Angeles seems like the obvious landing spot for Murakami, don't completely count out New York just yet. Still, when you take a step back and look at the big picture, maybe the smarter play for the Yankees is to focus on the hot corner, third base, where the need is actually greater. That's where another name from Japan enters the conversation: Kazuma Okamoto from the Yomiuri Giants. Okamoto might not have the same global recognition as Murakami, but make no mistake, this guy can hit. He's coming off a season where he posted an OPS just over 1,000 and batted over 320. Those are elite numbers anywhere. He doesn't strike out as much, he hits for both contact and power, and most importantly, he's an actual third baseman. Think about that fit for a second. The Yankees could bring in a player who strengthens a position of need, adds a solid bat to the lineup, and doesn't cost quite as much as Murakami. On top of that, Okamoto hits left-handed pitching well, which is something the Yankees have struggled with for years. With guys like Rice and McMahon being weaker against lefties, a player like Okamoto could balance things out perfectly. He's got a strong glove, good instincts, and even a bit of speed on the bases, something this team could use more of. If you're Brian Cashman and you're trying to rebuild this team smartly, not just throw money at the biggest names, Okamoto makes a lot of sense. You're not blocking Ben Rice. You're not overpaying for another power-only hitter, and you're adding someone who fits the lineup better. The Yankees have already scouted Okamoto, and from all reports, they've come away impressed. The organization has always valued versatility, and Okamoto checks that box. He can play first base if needed, but his natural home is third, and he plays it well. And there's another layer to this. Signing Okamoto wouldn't just improve the roster. It would send a message. It would show that the Yankees can still attract top Japanese talent to the East Coast, even with the Dodgers dominating that market lately. The Yankees have a long history with international players, and they've built strong connections over the years. Landing Okamoto could reignite that legacy and bring some of that international flair back to the Bronx. Meanwhile, when you look at where the Yankees currently stand, there's reason for optimism. Stanton looked strong again after returning from injury, posting an OPS close to 950 with a slugging percentage near 600. He looked like the player fans have been waiting to see again. Aaron Judge remains the heart of the team, though his future role in the outfield is still a question mark due to his recent injury history. That uncertainty alone makes it even more important for the Yankees to get smarter about how they build the lineup around him. Spending massive money on another first baseman just doesn't make sense. So, as tempting as Murakami's power numbers are, the Yankees might be better off passing on him. It's not that he isn't a great player. He is, but fit matters. Chemistry matters. You can't just stack sluggers and expect to win championships. This team has learned that the hard way. What they need is balance, and Okamoto brings that. Now, of course, there's always the possibility that the Dodgers sweep in and grab both of these guys. They have the money, the market, and the track record to do it. But that doesn't mean the Yankees should just sit back. This is the time to be aggressive, to make the right kind of move, not just the flashiest one. And right now, all signs point to third base being where the real opportunity lies. The bottom line is that the Yankees need to modernize the way they build their lineup. The days of relying purely on power are fading fast. Look around the league. The teams that are winning now mix contact with power, athleticism with defense. And that's exactly what the Yankees need to start doing. Adding someone like Okamoto, while keeping faith in young players like Ben Rice, could be the blueprint to finally building a sustainable winner again. And when you start looking at how the Yankees can actually execute this plan, that's where things become even more interesting. Because let's be honest, this front office has made plenty of flashy moves before that didn't quite pan out the way fans hoped. Big contracts, big expectations, and then disappointment in October. So, maybe this is the offseason where the approach shifts just a little bit. Less about star power and more about building a real, cohesive lineup. And if that's the case, then going for a player like Kazuma Okamoto instead of throwing all the money at Munetaka Murakami might actually be the smarter baseball decision, not just the safer one. The Yankees have been stuck in a strange cycle for a while now. Every season starts with big dreams, and every season seems to end the same way. Early exit, followed by frustration, followed by another round of soul-searching. You look at this roster and realize it's not that the talent isn't there. It's that the pieces haven't fit together. You've got guys who can hit the ball a mile, but sometimes they can't move runners over, can't manufacture runs, can't play small ball when it matters most. And that's why bringing in someone like Okamoto could be so valuable. He's a complete hitter, the kind of player who can adjust to different situations. He doesn't just swing for the fences. He puts the ball in play, drives and runs, and gives the lineup a different rhythm. There's also something to be said about the type of energy a new international star brings to a clubhouse like the Yankees. When Masahiro Tanaka first came to New York, the buzz around him was electric. He didn't just perform. He energized the team and the fan base. That's the kind of spark that could come with a signing like Okamoto. He's not just talented. He plays with passion, and that matters. It sets a tone. The Yankees could use that kind of jolt after a couple of years of inconsistent performances and locker room frustration. Another big part of this offseason puzzle is figuring out how to use their existing pieces more effectively. Ben Rice, for example, is not just a placeholder. He earned his spot with consistency and growth, and he's shown he can handle the pressure. When you have a young player like that who's producing and doesn't cost a fortune, you have to take advantage of it. That flexibility allows you to spend money in smarter areas, pitching depth, defensive upgrades, and filling that glaring hole at third base. The Yankees don't need to outspend everyone anymore. They just need to outthink them. And speaking of outthinking the competition, one of the biggest debates surrounding this team has been how to balance the aging veterans with the emerging talent. Stanton and Judge will always be the faces of the franchise, but players like Rice, Volpe, and Pereira represent the next wave. The key is to blend those timelines instead of letting them clash. Bringing in someone like Okamoto, who's in his prime and has international experience, creates that middle ground. Not too young, not too old, and ready to win right now. Of course, the Yankees will still have to deal with all the noise that comes with being the Yankees. Every potential signing becomes a headline. Every rumor turns into a debate. Murakami might still dominate those conversations because his name is bigger and his highlights look flashier. But the question the front office has to answer is simple. Who actually helps this team win more games? Because a $200 million contract looks great on paper until you realize it blocks a homegrown player who's already producing. It's also worth considering how Murakami's transition to Major League Baseball might actually go. Not every star from Japan makes an immediate impact. The pitching is faster, the ball moves differently, the schedule is grueling, and the travel is constant. Even with all his talent, there's no guarantee he hits the ground running. Meanwhile, Okamoto's skill set, contact hitting, gap power, reliable glove, might translate more smoothly. That's the kind of detail smart organizations pay attention to. Now, looking beyond just hitting, the Yankees' defense has to be a major focus as well. Too many games last season were lost because of defensive miscues or lack of mobility in key spots. Adding someone who can actually stabilize third base would make a huge difference. It takes pressure off the pitchers, it boosts confidence, and it makes the team more complete. Okamoto, being more natural at that position, immediately strengthens that area. And again, it comes back to fit. You can have all the stars in the world, but if they don't fit together, it doesn't matter. What's exciting, though, is that the Yankees still have a lot of flexibility this winter. They've cleared some salary from previous contracts. They have a strong farm system to work with, and they still carry the brand power to attract any player they want. The key is using that power wisely. They don't need to chase every name. They need to make the right choice. And right now, the right choice looks like targeting players who bring balance and consistency instead of just raw home run totals. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. The New York Yankees might be quietly shaking up the MLB landscape once again. Rumors are swirling that Alex Bregman, one of the league's most dynamic hitters and fielders, has inked a deal to wear the iconic pinstripes. While the team has yet to make an official announcement, insiders suggest that Bregman's arrival could mark one of the most talked-about acquisitions of the season. Sources close to the Yankees front office hint that the club has been aggressively pursuing top-tier talent this offseason, and Bregman quickly emerged as a prime target. Known for his clutch hitting, versatile infield play, and ability to turn a game on its head, Bregman would bring a blend of star power and leadership to the Bronx. Fans have long speculated about who might step into the lineup to complement the Yankees' core, and the whispers that Bregman could be that piece are already sparking excitement across social media and sports bars alike. Though contract details remain murky, the buzz suggests that the deal could be a multi-year commitment, signaling the Yankees' intent to contend at the highest level. If the whispers hold true, imagine the matchups. Bregman facing former rivals at Yankee Stadium, the roar of the crowd swelling as he connects in clutch moments, and the media frenzy surrounding every swing, every play. For a team constantly under the spotlight, adding a player of Bregman's caliber would only intensify the drama and the ticket demand. Of course, nothing is official yet, and skeptics warn that deals can shift at the last minute. Still, the mere suggestion of Alex Bregman in pinstripes has Yankees fans buzzing with anticipation, debating potential lineups, and imagining playoff scenarios where Bregman is a key difference maker. Whether this rumor transforms into reality one thing is certain. The Bronx buzz is real, and the possibility of a new Yankee superstar has already captured the city's imagination. Keep your ears open. This could be the start of one of the most electrifying chapters in recent Yankees history. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.